Tonight, a nursery worker is found guilty of more than 20 counts of child cruelty. Roxana Lecker was caught on CCTV pinching, dropping and kicking children as young as 10 months old.
And she's in a position of trust. She's abused that trust. It's a vile situation.
Also ahead, as families continue to search for their lost loved ones in Ahmedabad, prayers continue throughout London. We hear from tennis golden boys Jack Draper and Carlos Alcaraz as the men's tournament starts at Queen's. And
I'm on a flower farm and I found the perfect flowers for me, Sweet Williams. Although you may disagree with the sweet bit, fair enough. But we're all going to be more sweaty than sweet this week. Temperatures are on the rise.
Good evening. A former nursery worker has been convicted of 21 counts of child cruelty after abusing several children left in her care. 22-year-old Roxana Lecker from Hounslow abused children as young as 10 months old at two separate West London nurseries. CCTV footage showed the extent of her abuse. A warning, there are some distressing details in Carolyn Sims' report.
What about these big red marks and bruises to her back? Any idea about those?
No comment.
Did you cause those?
No comment.
As the harrowing list of abuse was put to Roxana Lecker by the police, she refused to tell them anything about what happened.
Roxana, how does that make you feel, seeing injury photos on a baby? Because for me, I find that really difficult to look at. Seeing clear marks on a little baby. How does that make you feel?
No comment.
It was at the Riverside Nursery in Twickenham that all but one of the 21 incidents of cruelty happened. CCTV showed Lecker kicking a boy 4 times in the face, punching and pinching a crying girl in the arms, legs and back. She was seen grabbing a baby out of a cot before pinching and punching him. The 22-year-old was arrested after families complained about injuries to their children over a 6-month period. Her reaction appeared callous.
Roxana, an allegation's been made, that you've been seen on a number of occasions to assault children at Riverside Nursery.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
The CPS have worked tirelessly with the police to get this result, not only for the vulnerable victims, but also for the parents who are also victimised by her appalling actions. And their fortitude in having to turn up day after day to this trial, to be victimised again and again, has been immense.
The Twickenham nursery has now closed, but inspections at Riverside's other sites confirmed they all meet safeguarding standards. Riverside told us this has been a distressing case, particularly for the children and families affected. Creating places in which children are happy, safe and able to thrive is our top priority, and we will do everything in our power to protect that.
Do you feel any sort of sadness about that?
No comment.
Would you just not care?
No comment.
No.
In court, Lecker was tearful as she was led away to the cells. She'll be sentenced at the end of September. Carolyn Sim, ITV News.
Now, a police officer involved in the strip search of a 15-year-old black student known as Child Q has apologised to the girl and her family. PC Victoria Ray also said there are many things she should have checked but didn't. Kath Apata was at the misconduct hearing for us today. Kath, what else came to light today?
Well, there are lots of I'm sorries from PC Ray. Now, up until now, there have been no pictures of any of the officers involved in Child Q's search. But we managed to film. We were the only journalists who filmed PC Ray coming out, wearing sunglasses and a face mask to hide her face.
Any regrets about what happened to Child Q?
Complete silence from PC Ray as I asked her questions there, but she did have a lot to say during the hearing. She spoke about the training she'd done in regards to stop and search. She said she'd never received any training on searching children. She'd never received any training on how to minimise embarrassments, and she'd only conducted 2 strip searches in the course of her career. Never at a school, never of a child, which brings us nicely to the day of the search itself. Now, for a strip search to take place, it needs to be authorised by a sergeant or higher rank. That didn't happen. PC Ray didn't check and accepted that she should have checked. there needs to be an appropriate adult present. Again, that didn't happen. PC Ray didn't check. She said that she assumed that Child Q's PE teacher was the appropriate adult, even though Ronke, that teacher, was not present in the room. And then came a series of apologies. She said she was sorry for the distress caused to Child Q and her family. She said that Child Q's mother should have been called and that the search never should have taken place. Now, Ronke, this marks the end of all the witnesses in this case. We now wait for closing statements and for the panel to decide whether or not these officers acted with gross misconduct and if they'll be keeping their jobs.
OK, Kath, thanks very much. Thank you. Now, 4 days after a London-bound Air India flight crashed in Ahmedabad, families are still scrambling for news of their loved ones. While hospitals near the crash site are full of relatives desperate for answers, the community here continues to support those grieving in London. Helen Keenan reports.
4 days on from the crash, investigators in India are continuing their search. Today, it was confirmed the cockpit voice recorder has been retrieved, which will contain the pilot's conversations, building a clearer picture of what was happening in the moments before impact. Killing 229 passengers and 12 crew when it crashed into a medical college hostel.
When I took my lunch and started eating, there was a very loud noise, and when I looked back, there was fire behind me. I saw the plane next to the building, and there was a fire, and many were injured.
But some victims' families have criticised both Indian and UK authorities, describing their response as disjointed, inadequate and painfully slow. Akhil Nanabawa and his wife and daughter were on the plane that crashed, and their relatives say their loss has been compounded with chaos at the hospital. The mayor of Harrow says her relative also died on the flight.
One of my former sister-in-law's cousin has passed away in this air crash, and happens to be that her son and my son are also good friends from young age. This is a tragedy that has happened in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, in India. And Harrow has a very large Indian Gujarati community, and so it has been felt even more than it would have been felt anywhere else, because somewhere or the other you will find that there are some connection to those lives which were lost.
Some of the victims have been identified, including Panna Nagar from Kent, a former nursery head teacher. Described as a guiding light who touched many lives with her passion for education, but others, we are told, are still in the hospital awaiting DNA identification. And with consular assistance reportedly 20 minutes away from here, there are calls for a full crisis team to be sent from the UK to India to support those families who are left waiting.
Well, Helen is at the Indian High Commission in Aldwych now, where a vigil is taking place. Helen, still a strong show of support in the capital.
Absolutely. Tributes have been left here, as you say, outside the High Commission in Aldwych since that plane crash took place. Now, so far it has been outside of the building where people have been honouring those who died. Today, there is a special ceremony taking place inside, and there will be prayers and speeches made from multiple different faith leaders. And we spoke to some of those who were going inside the building for that vigil, who had lost friends in the tragedy or were simply here to support the community.
We have some friends who lost their close ones, or either the relatives or somebody in the crash. So that's the thing, and then we are just show our respects here.
We belong to the city, so we know the few people around. So that's why we're deeply sad about and mourn about.
I think the UK government will have to step in and do something about it as well. But primarily the first thing is to try and overcome your emotional shock, psychological shock, and get your head around it.
Well, the Foreign Office have told us in a statement about that UK response to the crash that they have a dedicated helpline for families, and they said that the Air Accidents Investigation Branch has deployed an investigation team to support the Indian-led investigation. Now, we understand the Indian officials looking into the cause of the crash. They are expected to meet today, but a report won't be expected from them for another 3 months.
Helen, thank you very much. Thank you. A finance manager from Southwark disappeared without trace in Brazil a week ago today. Denis Kopanev left his Airbnb in Rio de Janeiro, leaving his belongings and his passport behind. His loved ones say time is of the essence as the search for him continues. Well, Fred Dimbleby is here with us now. What more can you tell us about this investigation, Fred?
Well, there is growing concern around Denis Kopanev since he was last seen some 7 days ago. He disappeared on the 9th of June, leaving, as you mentioned, his accommodation in Brazil at around 8:30 p.m. But belongings, including that passport and a number of other personal effects, were left behind, and he didn't then board a scheduled flight that he was expected to take. Now, friends say his phone has remained off since, with the last location, an area near his accommodation in Rio de Janeiro. And we do have this CCTV footage from that night showing him leaving the gates of the property wearing a beige jacket, as you can see, trousers and what appears to be a baseball cap. But those who are close to him are growing more frustrated, more worried. One of them spoke to us.
I'm feeling very worried, and it's been 7 days now, and the thought of losing such a good friend is very distressing. There have been no breakthroughs as far as we know. I'm very worried. I'm fearing the worst.
Those friends also say they want the Met Police to treat his case with more urgency. The Met Police, for their part, say they are supporting the investigation into what they say is the sudden disappearance of the 33-year-old, and that Brazilian police are working closely with the Met. But for those who know Denis Kopanev, this is, of course, desperately worrying as they wait for any news.
OK, thank you very much. Thank you. Still to come on the programme, two legends of Strictly Come Dancing are in the studio to talk about a brand new tour. And
I'm down on the farm, couldn't resist climbing on board, but I will be showing you something really beautiful later for a special week in the British calendar. And if you like it warm, don't go anywhere.
But first, after an historic turn for the women at London's Queen's Club, the men's tennis tournament kicked off today. The competition is seen as a key measure of how the best players in the world are shaping up ahead of Wimbledon. Rags Martel sat down with the British #1, Sutton's Jack Draper, and the current favourite, Carlos Alcaraz, fresh from his French Open win.
At Queen's, King Carlos has arrived.
Hola, Carlos.
Fresh on the grass from his Paris victory on clay, but only after a little holiday in Ibiza.
Carlos, welcome to London. Have to talk about that Roland Garros final. I mean, you're going to be talking about it for the rest of your life, I think. But have you had enough time to recover? I know everyone was talking about Ibiza, but it's only been a week. Are you okay to play?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to put myself on track again. I'm excited to be back here on grass. Queen's is a really beautiful tournament. But yeah, it just took a few days, and for the tennis player, believe me, it's more than enough.
Do you think there should be more time between Roland Garros and Wimbledon?
Obviously, I have loved to have more time to recover. Just a week to play a tournament before Wimbledon. I think it's a short time, but I think we have to get used to it. We have to accept it.
But Queen's has its homegrown heir to the tennis crown, Jack Draper. And the British #1 beat Carlos Alcaraz at Queen's last year.
Is this Queen's about revenge, getting your own back on Jack?
Well, beating Jack on grass here at his home is tough. And hopefully if I play against him, I'm going to take the revenge.
Good luck. Jack, good to see you again.
Lovely to see you, mate.
Just speaking to Carlos. He says he wants revenge for last year when you beat him on this.
Yeah, it's going to be great, obviously, to have someone like Carlos in the draw, especially after what he did last week in Paris. He'll be out for revenge, but I'm sure he's also getting sick of asking questions about me being in the UK as we are. But already a great champion. Ultimate respect for him, for sure.
I mean, you reached so high in the game now, but in this country, it seems Wimbledon is the only tennis that matters. And do you think you have to do well at Wimbledon to really make your mark in this country?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think everyone in this country especially watches Wimbledon. That's what they're glued to for the 2 weeks. Obviously, tennis is a huge sport globally, but in tennis, the culture for tennis all year round isn't that big. And so it's a good time to hopefully perform, show my best tennis.
And everyone's been talking about how Carlos spent a few days in Ibiza. Yeah. Your kind of rest time was very different.
Yes.
How nice was it just to chill out in London?
So good. Everyone likes their different things. Some people like going out and partying for a few days. Some people like just relaxing. For me, it's more of a time that I can relax and not have to worry about anything and just get settled in my home environment, sleep in my own bed. That's where I want to be. So happy to be back in the UK, that's for sure.
Beautiful. Welcome back.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good luck, good luck.
Rags Martel reporting from Queens there, and you can find extended interviews with both Jack Draper and Carlos Alcaraz on ITVX. Just go to itv.com/London. Now it's time to get ready for some sizzling ballroom, passionate tango and seductive rumba. The Strictly Professional legends are back on tour. This year, fans are being promised the most epic and electrifying performances ever. The tour is called Return of the Legends, and James Jordan and Ian Waite, two of the professional dancers who will be keeping the audience entertained, are with me now. But first, let's take a look at them in action.
Remember what your old pal said. Yeah, you got a friend in me.
You're just laughing at how young you look.
Yeah, we are. I know. It was nice to be young. You've had a bit of Botox.
Yeah, well, I have, yes. I've got to try and keep up with you, mate. That's what it is.
Do you know, I'm amazed at how popular dancing is now. It's just the new thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Strictly back in the day has definitely changed people's perception of dancing from when we were growing up, which for us is amazing. There's so many dance shows out there, and Strictly is still going very, very strong.
I remember when they first mentioned this show that was going to be teaching the celebs, I thought, there's no way they're going to be able to teach them within a few weeks to dance like us.
Yeah.
And they've done amazing.
You had to teach them a new dance in, like, literally 5 days.
Back then?
Back then. Well, it is still now. They still do that now on Strictly. 5 days to learn a new dance, and it works. It's such a great TV format.
And you like to keep it in the family, don't you? Because isn't your wife a dancer?
My wife is a dancer as
well.
We met way before we did Strictly, but we joined Strictly together. She won the show. I never won the show. You never won the show either, did you?
No, but you won Dancing on Ice.
I did. I won Dancing on Ice.
And I won in Australia. So, yeah.
And we have to mention the other legends as well.
Yes,
You've got Brendan Cole.
OK.
Pasha Kovalev and Vincent Simone.
I'm sure our audience know who all of those are.
Yeah, it's a very nostalgic tour, isn't it? I mean, it's all the old boys going back on tour. And initially, we didn't really know if there was going to be an appetite for it, did we?
No, we didn't know whether our audience would still be alive.
Yes, that's how old we are.
So tell me a bit about this tour, because it's not just dancing. There's some interaction with the audience, there's a bit of comedy, well, you tell me about it.
Yeah, there is. I mean, we each have our solos, which are amazing. I remember going into rehearsals, and I was the one that hadn't been dancing for a long period of time. Went into rehearsals and saw all these guys doing their solos. And I went home to my wife and I was like, oh my God, they're all still so amazing. So you get to see that. We do group dances, but I think the best thing that we have is because we all genuinely get on. There's a lot of banter, isn't there, Ian?
There's a lot of laughs between us, and we talk about all the stories backstage and all the funny things that have happened over the years, and our connections with obviously the wonderful Anton Dubek. Yeah. And we're even kind of morphing into each other. I mean, look, he's copying me with the beard situation.
The same colour from Just for Men, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Other brands are available.
Other brands are available. And there's a nod to dance icons.
There
like
is.
Darcy Bustle,
we have Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, and
Patrick Swayze, and John Travolta.
Yes.
But I think also because we no longer work for Strictly, we're a little bit more edgy. We're able to be a bit more cheeky with some of the stuff. So there is lots of stories on there that people love to hear. We're all still massive fans of Strictly, but we we do take it to the edge, don't we? We're going to the Palladium this year.
No, I was just going to say, you've just got time to tell us
Palladium.
where it's the London Palladium, and I think it's in September.
It is September the 25th.
Yeah. And also Richmond on the 23rd of September.
OK, well, we will be coming to see you. Thank you so much for coming in to see us. Thank you
so much.
Bye-bye. Now, it's the first day of British Flowers Week today, and what a glorious start it's been. Sally's been out in Keston in Kent to see how the blooms are getting on in the sunshine.
Well, this is not bad for a Monday night. The weather, I'd say, is pretty much perfect. And come here and take a look at this picture postcard scene of flowers. Aren't they stunning? And if I stop jabbering on for 5 seconds, you might just be able to hear the birds and this little stream that's trickling. Obviously, I'm not going to stop talking. Now, why am I here in this beautiful garden? Well, it's British Flowers Week, so we're talking about British flowers. And look, if I shove my nose in this rose, oh, it just smells gorgeous. And the brilliant woman behind it is Jane. Jane, come forward so we get this lovely backdrop while I talk to you. First of all, thank you so much for having us.
Lovely to meet you.
Now, you are a member of Flowers from the Farm, which is an organisation, isn't it? A membership group that promotes British flowers. What's so special about British flowers as opposed to ones that haven't come from abroad?
First of all, they don't have any chemicals, they're grown with love and care, and they're just so beautiful compared to what you would buy from the supermarkets.
So you can go on Flowers from the Farm and you can find where your local flower grower is, can't you?
Literally, there's a map and you can look at the map and it's all the whole of England and Scotland, and you can literally see where you live and that's your local grower there as well.
And are people like brides coming to you and saying, I want British flowers for my wedding, I want them on my table?
Yeah, they love them because they look so natural, and the roses have scent.
Yeah.
They want something with scent to enjoy on their wedding day. So they love, I think a lot of brides now really just want British flowers.
Most popular flower?
Rose still, I'm afraid.
I can't blame Jane, thank you so much. Well, listen, she's got loads more flowers over there. I'm going to run over there and tell you what our incredible weather is doing at the moment.
Come rain or shine, Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello again, I hope you had a lovely start to the week. I've never seen this before, a triple-decker snail. Hard work in the temperatures we've got coming our way. It's going to be pretty dry this week, plenty of sunshine around, but those temperatures are on the climb. If you look at this temperature chart, you can see by Friday we could be tipping into the 30s, and they're going to get warmer as we go through into next week as we tap into more warm air coming up from the south. So yes, a hot period on the way. But not like that tonight. It is still really quite warm out here, but it will be quite a mild one, and our temperatures only staying up into the mid-teens. When we get to tomorrow morning, there might just be a little bit of mist first thing, but sunrise is at 4:30 and that should burn back pretty quickly. And we've got loads of sunshine tomorrow, probably even more than today. Might be a little bit of patchy cloud and a bit of a breeze, which we might be grateful for because those temperatures getting up to the mid-20s again, maybe peaking at 26 or even 27 tomorrow, so it is getting warmer. As we go into the evening, a beautiful end to Tuesday, lots of sunshine, and then for Wednesday, another lovely day. Maybe a bit more cloud on Wednesday though, but from the outlook you can see those temperatures climbing by day, by night as well, and high to very high UV. So do watch your skin. That's the weather. Here's the pollen.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
Thankfully, I don't have hay fever because I think being in this little field here where I am would be a little bit difficult. Very high levels of pollen this week from grass and from weed as well. So not great with the settled conditions. I hope it's not too bad for you. That's it for now. Have a super evening from us all here in this beautiful spot. Cheerio.
Finally this evening, the award-winning project that's seeing gardening being prescribed to help amputees. The specially designed oasis run by Guy's and St Thomas Hospital is offered in addition to physical rehab, wound care and counselling. The garden helps with the amputees' recovery while also giving the patients a safer space to rebuild their confidence and gain independence. Gemma Creeley reports.
This garden is more than just flowers. It's a place of support.
Never done this, you're going to struggle, because what these give you is just new life.
David had Charcot in his left leg, a bone disorder caused by his diabetes.
Broke my toe on this one. As a diabetic, they took that off. I went back to work too early and punctured my foot, so they took off the rest of the toes. Never done any gardening, and when you get into here and you're involved in that, so the 2 beds that we planted today, there was nothing there 6 weeks ago, and today it just looks absolutely beautiful.
The Amputee Rehabilitation Unit at Guy's and St Thomas's Hospital helps over 100 patients each year regain mobility and independent living skills.
Mentally it's helped a lot. Being able to talk to people and do things.
Peter got an infection in his foot after an operation. He contracted osteomyelitis and sepsis and had to have a below-the-knee amputation.
Physically, they've helped me in a lot of ways in trying to adjust to what I've got so I can stand up and walk. And mentally, just being here in the environment where you can just go and sit in the garden and relax, it's been amazing. It's beautiful. Watching the bees pollinating the plants, the birds, the foxes.
When people arrive here, obviously there's a bit of anxiety. They don't know what's going to happen to them. They've had an amputation, that's what they know, and they know a little bit about the unit. They know that they're going to get rehab here. So when someone comes here, they're a little bit apprehensive, obviously. We want our patients to return to normal. We want them to regain their independence. And I really do feel the garden's an excellent tool to get people out here. They get to practice with walking. They get to practice with their new prosthetic, whether it's a leg, whether it's an arm. Sometimes it could be a combination. And the garden plays a vital role.
For many patients, this garden is more than just a place to recover. It's the final step on their journey home. Gemma Creeley, ITV News, Kennington.
What a wonderful and worthwhile project. Right, that's it from us. The evening news is next with Charlene. But for now, from all of us on the ITV London News team, enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.